What's going on, family? Welcome to your Monday night live stream. I'm your host, Sir Ashley. And you do not want to miss this live stream if you plan on buying a home in the greater Charlotte area this year. I believe it is critical to get this information because we're in it. I was going to say we're heading to, but we are in the spring buying and selling season. It's March. Things have picked up dramatically. So, again, welcome. Thank you for tuning in, for rocking with me tonight. We are in the spring buying and selling season. And those of you who don't know me, I am Sir Ashley. I am a real estate agent, an investor. I've been in real estate for over the past decade as a real estate attorney, investor, agent, and I have a team of agents around me that I'm fortunate enough to work with. So I'm able to not just see what I see on the ground, helping clients day to day, but they all come to me with what they're seeing and for advice and just guidance. So I'm able to see what is happening around the area. So I have a unique insight ability because of them to be able to share that with you. Before we get in, go ahead, hit that like button, hit the share button. Let me know where you're watching from. If you're in the area, let me know that you're local. I have quite a few people reach out locally that have been sitting on the sidelines for a while, but now it's time for them to jump in. They want to jump in, and we're evaluating if now is a good time. So this is why it's even more important to jump in and listen to this because I have the new data from February 2025 as we head into March, April, May, so you can see what's happening in the market and how you can position yourself to take advantage of it if you so choose to buy or sell in this market. Um, Start off with let's talk about the data. So we are in March 17th, and we have the data. We just got it late last week from February. Now, I hate it that it's so far behind, but it does give you insight into what's happening and how to position ourselves. So the median home price here in the greater Charlotte area is $411,000. Now, that is still up. It's not up the 5-6% year over year that it was during COVID times, but it's still up 2.8% year over year. So for those of you who are expecting prices to come down or was told, I know there's several YouTubers that told people prices were coming down. I'm sorry to tell you that prices have not come down. But if you take a look on my channel, my YouTube channel, I've given you options or I've highlighted areas of where there's some affordable housing in the greater Charlotte area and in Charlotte proper. And actually, I filmed something just last night. I couldn't get away because affordability really is on my mind heavily. And I was looking at the most affordable areas in Charlotte. And I have a list of 5 communities that I'm putting out as soon as it's done editing. I sent it to the editor last night as well. I'll put it out hopefully this week, if the very latest next week, whenever I get it back, about 5 areas in Charlotte that is overlooked, but you can get homes anywhere from 295,000, yes, in Charlotte proper. And I believe it went all the way up to like 410, 412. So 295 to 412, that is still in the affordable price point, I believe. And as you saw, the median price for February 2025 is $411,000. Go ahead, leave a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. It just helps me out so I know who I'm speaking to. Now, one thing you do need to be aware of if you're a buyer and seller in this market as well is right now, presently, it will change. I'm feeling the shift right now. It will change as we go further into March and into April. But right now, homes are sitting on the market a little longer. Right now, compared to last year, homes are sitting on the market 53 days. And last year, they're on the market 48 days. Now, that's not a huge jump, but as a buyer, you have to use every little piece of that to your advantage. And what do I mean by that? I mean, when you're positioning an offer, What's going on, Stephanie? Thank you for rocking with us. Thank you for tuning in. When you're positioning an offer, and I just did this last week, we have to look at what else is on the market. I represented the buyer. We looked at what else is on the market, how long this home has been sitting, the price of this home, if there had been any price drops, and the sheer fact that this home in the suburb of Charlotte sat on the market a little longer than what's normal. And we were able to use that in not just getting a decreased price, but we also asked for seller concessions and a warranty, and we got everything. We got all of that. They did have some pushback with the price initially, but we ended up getting what we wanted. So that's why, as a buyer, you need to be aware of how long homes are sitting on the market, because especially if you're in a certain price point, if you need seller concessions or want seller concessions, and seller concessions can be for closing costs, can be for whatever you need it for, it can't be for your down payment, but closing costs, buying down your interest rate, uh, we want to be able to take advantage of that. So, with that said, you don't want to look at a house that just came to the market and it's very competitive, and you're just wasting your time if you submit an offer asking for seller concessions, knowing that they got four other offers and two of them probably are not asking for any of that. You need to see where you're supposed to be positioned at and position yourself looking at homes that have been on the market a little longer, that are not white hot. And you can still get excellent deals and excellent homes. This home has been on the market a little longer, but a beautiful home. It is a what, 5 bedroom, I believe, has two different fireplaces, vaulted ceilings in every single bedroom. It truly is a beautiful home, very unique, should I say. I know I've seen homes that have vaulted ceilings in the primary suite, but literally every bedroom has vaulted ceilings, and it is it's quite spectacular. I can't wait till my clients get in and put their touches on it so I can go back and see what it looks like. But position yourself that way if you are going to be um, if you're looking for seller concessions or looking for the seller to give you something, you want to look at homes that have been sitting on the market a little longer. Thank you, Peeps. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Joseph. I appreciate it. Now, feel free to ask any questions that you may want to know. I have a list of things I want to touch on that I believe is pertinent for this market that we're in right now and headed into in the spring. But I'm willing to deviate, and let's talk. Let's answer any questions that you may have. Now, I must say this though: while homes are sitting on the market longer, it's still a soft seller's market. Now, during COVID, it was a strong seller's market, meaning sellers had the upper hand, no doubt about that. In this market, you still have less inventory and higher demand, but the inventory and demand aren't quite lining up as the sellers would like, meaning the sellers that are coming to the market typically are homes that are above the median price. And most of the people coming to the market to buy are right around the median price, if not lower. So the supply is not meeting the demand. So that's why you have homes sitting on the market a little longer. And that's why I say it's a soft seller's market, to where technically, just looking at supply and demand, it is a seller's market, but they don't have the leverage that they once had a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. So as a buyer, especially in, I would say, $500,000 or more, depending on the area. Now, every area is a little different in the Charlotte region, depending on the area, but general rule, $500,000 or more, you may have, as a buyer, more power in your offer because you are the prize at that point, right? You see what we got here. Hey, sir, North Carolina has been on the radar as a place of living, torn between Asheville and Charlotte. Asheville was hit with a large flood a few months ago, and that was scary to see. No, Asheville most definitely was hit with that flood this past fall, and it was devastating. Actually, I was on a call. I'm part of the North Carolina Realtors Association. I am on one of the committees, and we were on a call last week, and we're still talking about gathering funds and taking care of people in Asheville. And next month, I believe we're going to do a not a documentary, but we're going to film about the progress that has been made in the area, but also share what needs to be improved and challenges they're still facing in that area. Now, you said between Charlotte and Asheville. Asheville is beautiful. I like visiting. Well, it still is beautiful. I like visiting there, but I chose Charlotte because it is pretty much it has been insulated. Um, Climate change, whatever's happening with the weather, I'm not sure, but it has been insulated from major weather events. Now, when there's hurricanes or tropical storms over by the coast, now we do get some rain. You hear about some trees falling here and there, but not to the extent anywhere like Asheville or over by the coast. So Charlotte is, I mean, anything's possible nowadays, right? But I like Charlotte because it has been insulated and I feel safe here from different weather occurrences and stuff. And as far as for me, which one is better? Early retiree, I would have to say Charlotte. The reason why I say Charlotte as well is because there's just more things to do. Now, if you love the outdoors, Asheville has that, but Charlotte has that as well. You have Crowder's Mountain, you have all of these nature preserves and parks. You have the Charlotte Greenway. So you have the outdoors here. You have Daniel Stowe Botanical Gardens. You have the outdoor element here as well, but you also have all of the different entertainment options that Asheville just doesn't have. And that's why I like it. That's why I like it more. And you're closer to the beach if you need to get to the coast. So as a retiree, I just believe, not believe, I know Charlotte has more to offer. Now it is beautiful. I have helped clients move out to the Asheville area and retire. And I'll tell you the truth, one of them loves it still. The other one, I met with maybe 6 weeks ago. Me and an agent here met with them because they're bored. They they haven't done everything in the Asheville area, but they feel like they've done everything in the Asheville area, and they're bored. They want some diversity and everything, so they're moving back to the Charlotte area. But getting back into the housing market and what's happening right now, um, what is challenging right now is I told you affordability. It's really been on my radar. That's why I have a video coming out talking about 5 hidden gems in Charlotte, where you can get homes from 395 all the way up to what 412. Um, there was a report that just came out that said Charlotteans are some of the most stressed, financially stressed populations in our country. And I that hit home because the cost of living, well, the Charlotte median home cost is about 5 times the median income. So it is seriously unaffordable according to every metric. And that's for people that are living here. And it's still reason why the housing market is the way it is, how home prices are going up and not coming down, even though affordability is a huge challenge, is because North Carolina it is the second most migrated state. So people are coming here at a higher rate, at the highest rate. So you have the demand for the area, and that's what people coming in is what's causing the prices to stay the same, if not going up. So they're coming to the area and they're coming with their salaries, or they've from where they relocated from, or several of my clients are coming, selling their home wherever they're selling it from, and have a large lump sum, huge amounts of money to just buy cash, and they don't have to worry about they're not worrying about mortgage rates or anything like that. So you have an influx of people, whether coming in because of a job, get relocated, or coming in and retiring to this area, and they're not worried about the affordability in the area because it's still affordable compared to where they came from, or because they just sold a home, it's affordable because they don't have to worry about a mortgage payment. Now, the factors that are driving up affordability, or high prices, is mortgage rates. Now, I'll talk about mortgage rates a little later. they have seen a little relief. So you can take advantage of that right now. We talked about limited supply, but what I hear from local Charlotteans that have been here, the biggest challenge they have, yes, home prices increasing, but the fact that their wages are not increasing. And that's something that I've seen throughout the country, but definitely hear it firsthand from people looking to buy here is they've been on a job for anywhere from 5 to 10 years, but they haven't seen the raises that they think they deserve. Let me see right here. Stephanie says, I am planning to play out the situation. I have a house in a wonderful area, Bradford Farms. I have a large amount of equity. Where could I live that will not surpass my mortgage? I understand. What's going on, Chris and Vivian? I actually, every time I think of Middle C, I think of you. Um, I'm actually supposed to be going to Middle C when one of my clients sells their house. It's under contract right now. They want to go when it's sold. So hopefully you're in town at that time and we all can go together. But let's talk about that stuff. We'll come back to that in a second. Your question, your statement about your scenario. And this is what I think is going to happen based on the data and the things I've been reading and just what I've been seeing on the day to day is I believe we have experienced the majority of our price increases or equity buildup for the 2020s in the first 4 years. What do I mean by that? I mean, every decade, if you look historically, you typically have about anywhere from a 20 to 25, maybe 30 in a good area, price appreciation in homes. Well, we've experienced that in the Charlotte area the first 3, 4 years of 2020. So 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. The last couple years, yes, it's gone up 2.8%, but that is healthy. That's a healthy amount. I don't think we're going to see huge increases in price. You might see 1% this year. You might see 2% next year, but I believe we've exhausted it. So I believe we're going to see wage growth catch up to the cost of living. We do have what a 35% chance of recession. I saw today. It's yeah, it's in the I read it on which newspaper did I read it on? New York Times, I believe. 35% chance of recession, which is significantly higher than it had been, especially what 6 months ago. And it's just a lot of uncertainty. But even considering it being a recession or there may be a possibility of recession, we have to look at what does that mean for you, the home buyer or home seller, and what does that mean for housing prices? In the last 7 recessions here in the United States, there's only been housing price decreases twice. And the only real notable one was during the Great Recession when you had the subprime bubble and everything. The other one was a significant, an insignificant, I say insignificant, but 5% decrease. Now, would you take a 5% decrease in home prices to make it more affordable? Most definitely. But it's not the crash that people hope for or wish. Only time you've seen that is during the Great Recession. You had some extenuating circumstances that contributed to that. So factoring all that in, should you buy now or should you wait? That is the dilemma that I'm hearing a lot of clients or potential clients talking to me about. I was actually out Sunday with a client. We were looking at some houses in South Carolina in the suburb of Charlotte, and amazing pricing. Amazing pricing. We were able to looking at new construction. One builder was offering 5.5% interest rate for 30-year fixed, which you can't really beat nowadays. But the pricing, I believe, of the home, actually, I don't believe it was 394 for a 4 bedroom. and the community had everything. It had a pickleball court, it had a playground, it had a pool, it had a common area, an indoor. What do you want to call that? Um, Clubhouse. I went blank for a second. A clubhouse for the neighborhood, and what? Less than 400,000, 5.5% fixed interest rate for 30 years, and you can get $10,000 in closing costs. So that is a scenario where she did the math, and it just makes sense for her to buy now as opposed to waiting. Her rent, she found out, is going to be increasing. She moves, or her lease is up in June, and she's already been notified that the rent will be going up. So now is just the perfect time for her because she has a stable job, stable income, and the area she's moving to or thinking about moving to is on the come up to where she's able to take advantage of the appreciation. So you just have to weigh what's happening. Now, while I don't believe prices will increase dramatically within the next year in the Charlotte area, there are experts saying that, and I say experts, people, economists, not people that are in housing every single day and get to talk to buyers and sellers and everything. But I'm talking about economists who just look at the data and looking at demographic shifts and stuff like that. They are thinking or believing that Charlotte will increase the area anywhere from 5 to 8% this year. Now, I don't think it will happen as a whole. Do I think there's pockets of the greater Charlotte area that will increase 5 to 8%? Most definitely. Most definitely. We have Jay. Hey, brother, moving from New York in the next 4 months. Want to get a condo, but will likely rent initially for at least 8 to 12 months to figure out where to purchase. Any advice on a plan for the condo market or the condo market? Um, condos. Condos are rare here. Uh, it's just not it's more of a northern thing, but there are some in uptown Charlotte. And actually, there's some condos I just got announced in Davidson. I believe they're going to be building. Now, when I first moved here, I say they're rare. I'm about to tell you, when I first moved here, I moved to a condo in Ballantyne, where it is very affordable, great area, convenient to everything. Only thing is traffic gets a little backed up at times in the Ballantyne area. But I think I tell everyone, if you plan on being in a place for more than 2 years, it probably makes sense to buy. But I totally understand your reasoning, Jay, to where you want to familiarize yourself with the area, know what you like, what you dislike, where do you like to go, and then potentially buy a home next to where you like to be and where you like to hang out. I totally understand that. Every situation is a little different. I don't know your exact budget or situation, but those people, those clients of mine that are on the cusp of being able to afford a home, but you can right now, versus we don't know what next year holds. And we know rent is going up for single family homes. Condos or townhouses, you might be able to get some reprieve on rents. But if you're on the cusp, I say better to buy and lock it in, not just anything. Obviously, we needed to check off a lot of your boxes, but let's firm up that payment, and then you can gain equity because equity will be going. I mean, we're in this area. It may not be 5 to 8%, but you're going to be anywhere from 1.5 to 3% every single year in the Charlotte area right now. So every situation is a little different. Reach out to me. Let's talk. Let's game plan it out and see. One, I want to see how familiar you are with the area. What do you know about it? What do you like? What do you dislike? And I can see if I can find an area for you, whether it is for condos or to buy a home. We'll just discuss that. Now, one thing that I want everybody to factor in and consider is interest rates. I know a lot of people are waiting for rates to come down to the fours, um, fives, maybe. What we've seen, and it's Fed week. Jerome Powell will be making an announcement for the federal funds rate we'll be doing on Wednesday, I believe. Now, that doesn't necessarily have a direct correlation with mortgage interest rates, but let's talk about it. I don't believe mortgage interest rates are going to be in the mid fives. I think they're going to be hovering anywhere from 5.9 to 6.8 all year. Why? Is because there's a lot of uncertainty with everything. Whether we're going to war, whether we're supporting Ukraine, whether tariffs are happening. The financial sector does not like uncertainty. So while there's a spread between what the banks get the money for and what they give you the money at, um, and the spread was shrinking, they're going to keep the spread exactly where it is right now because of the uncertainty. They want to have that buffer just in case things go bad, that they know they're going to make money on their money. So when you're thinking about buying, do not anticipate or think that prices are, well, one, Charlotte, I don't think the prices are going to come down, but don't think interest rates are going to come down because history has shown that's just not the case in economic uncertainty. They're going to stay exactly where they are. So that means you're going to have, this is the new normal. This is the new normal. I was going to say you have high payments, but this is where actually rates right now are the lowest they've been in about what 3.5 months, 4 months. So this is the new normal. People that I've had waiting, they're tired of waiting. They're like, okay, what can I get at this price at this interest rate? And we one need to get pre-approved again because a lot of times their pre-approval has had lapsed, and we're going out shopping. We're finding the best deals and the best locations for them and their family. Now, when we talk about national trends, we are short 4.5 million homes. Now, that's just, in my opinion, that's because of the Great Recession, and for two reasons: Great Recession, and I think during COVID, rates stayed low for too long, causing people to not move, to not come to the market. And during the Great Recession, that took out a lot of these smaller builders, and less homes were being built during that time. So we've been short the amount of homes that we needed because we knew the population shift. I say we as a country, you just look at demographics, the population shift, where millennials are firmly in the home buying, home creation age, they're gonna want a place to stay. And right now, people are living longer, and we just don't have enough homes sitting on the market or available. And that's why prices again have not come down, because you have millennials. Yes, contrary to what Ambernique says, I am a millennial. Um, in the housing market competing with each other and against each other for the limited amount of homes. Now, what questions do you have? Um, I have a video coming out talking about how to improve your chances to buy a home as a first time home buyer, but I'm willing to discuss anything and everything regarding housing right now. I don't want to keep you too long. Where we at? Meg, just want to say how much she appreciates me, really help educate me on the market and keep me informed. Hope to retire in Charlotte in about 6 to 8 years. Now, thank you for that. That's, I was going to say, knowledge is power, and it is to an extent, but when you apply that knowledge is when you really achieve that power and really take advantage of that power. So I have this information. I'm afforded this information from one being in the field every single day, having conversations with other business owners, also other agents, and just buyers and sellers like yourself. And I know how I'm coaching my team to navigate this market, and we're winning every single day. Just today, I saw about what, six, if not seven, under contracts. So I have clients, I say clients, agents in this market every single day, and I see every deal that they're doing. And I want to be able to share that with you so you know how to position yourself to where it's not coming as a shock once you get into the housing market, that you are prepared and know exactly what to look for. And real quick, shout out to my clients, Ty and Kelly, closed on a beautiful home today in Indian Land, South Carolina. Um, I'm proud of them. They made a move, an inter Carolina move from South Carolina, actually from lower country, South Carolina, to the greater Charlotte area. They're still in South Carolina. But let me tell you a little bit about their journey to where buying a home is may not be as easy as simple as you may want it to be. Now, they owned a home back in South Carolina, over by the coast, over by Charleston, about 45 minutes north, and they ended up selling their home and living in an apartment here in Charlotte. Now, these are retirement age people, very comfortable. They're used to living a certain way. Being in that apartment was not, I can only imagine, was not pleasant. It's not what they're used to. They made that sacrifice in order to get the home that they wanted, beautiful home that they wanted in Indian Land. So I say that to say that when I talk to a lot of first time home buyers, just home buyers in general, you want things to line up perfectly. Everybody does. But the reality is there's going to be some discomfort in this process. Now, it's going to be my job and my team's job to try to mitigate that discomfort and where bear the brunt of any challenges and different things. But there will be some uncertainty throughout this process. And I just want you to get comfortable in being a little bit uncomfortable in this process. Because even my investors that do this multiple times a year, they'll tell you no transaction is perfect. None, because we're dealing with humans. We're not perfect. So keep that in mind and be diligent. You have to know why you're buying a home in order to go through the discomfort you will feel at times. Because trust me, that mortgage, that lender, that bank asking you for all these documents repeatedly is going to get annoying. But they need to do their job, right? And put you in the best position and get you the best interest rate, get you the financing you need. Builders talking about delays, that's inconvenient, right? You had a plan in your head, things are going to happen at a certain time. Delays happen. People actually, the builder ended up getting hurt. The builder that built their home ended up getting hurt, the main builder. So, fortunate for them, it didn't really delay things, but it could have been a catastrophic delay because he was severely injured in the hospital himself. Even when you're dealing with a resale home, if they have a home that they're buying, there's a lot of contingencies. So maybe they couldn't buy their home or in time for them to be out for you to move into their home, right? So just understand that there's going to be some discomfort in this process. Just curious, is there any particular town city that has a high concentration of New York City transplants? Um, I'm torn because I'm willing to say everywhere, but no, definitely Still Creek has a lot of New York transplants. University area has New York City transplants. I mean, y'all are everywhere. Y'all are everywhere. I'm trying to think. I have several agents that came here from New York. One is in Gaston County. Actually, two are in Gaston County. Um, you'll be at home. You'll be at home. New Yorkers are everywhere. Uh, Actually, shout out to Alvarado. He's from New York, and he just went under. He's an agent that works with me. He just went under contract, his first deal as a real estate agent. Shout out to him from New York, killing it down here. But yeah, no, there's no real. I'm trying to think of particular areas. You have Still Creek, which is South Charlotte. You have University, which is North Charlotte. Now, particular suburbs, no. If you're looking, if you're just driving around neighborhoods and stuff, you'll see a lot of people from upstate New York. We're just talking about in the greater Charlotte area. A lot of people from upstate New York, a lot of people from New York City, and it seems like every third or fourth person is from either Michigan or Ohio. So you'll be well represented if you're from Michigan, from Ohio, from upstate New York. I'm guilty. I'm from upstate New York, or from New York City. You will have your people, your community, all throughout the greater Charlotte area. Now, I have a question for you all. How many of you are in the market to look to buy a home right now? And what are you seeing? Because I'm not seeing any price drops right now. I did see it. Actually, let me tell you before I answer that question, if you don't mind. What are you seeing? I will tell you what I'm seeing from a lot of builders right now. And this is what I was afraid of. A lot of builders right now are really having record breaking months. Last week, one builder in one community, 12 homes went under contract. That's how hot this market is. Even with the higher interest rates, even with limited inventory, 12 homes went under contract. And reason why I say record breaking, because all of February, they only had 8 homes go under contract. Not because they didn't have any available, they had inventory available, but only 8 homes in February went under contract. 12 homes last week went under contract. So, what does that mean for buyers? This is where it gets a little uncomfortable because for you buyers, yes, there's inventory, you can get in, but that just means there's also more competition. And with that competition, this is what I was afraid will happen is just today, I talked to the builder, they have reduced the incentives. Meaning, when you're a buyer, before you come in, they will give you a move-in package. This builder specifically, a move-in package which included washer, dryer, refrigerator, and blinds. They're not doing that anymore, and they gave you $10,000 in closing costs. They're not going to give you 10; they're going to give you 5. So not only did you miss out on the move-in package, but you missed out on $5,000 in closing costs. And the interest rate where they bought it down to what 5.5%, that's not being offered either. So you'll be able to get, I'm sure we can negotiate a buy down to where it's not going to be 6.6 or 6.8, but you're not going to get 5.5. And that is the challenging part. And that's the frustrating part because I know I talk to people every single day that are almost double dutching in this housing market. They want to buy, they know they should buy. They're financially able to buy, but the uncertainty is keeping them on the sideline, keeping them paralyzed. And them being paralyzed and not moving to what they want and yeah, what they want just costs them money in their pocket. Not just money right now, but I'm talking about money every single month because now their mortgage payment is going to be higher every single month. So that indecision, that waiting, it's just that granted, you have to move when it's comfortable for you. However, I like to have both. I like to have, people that know me know I like to have things both ways. You have to move when it's comfortable for you, but you do have to be a little bit uncomfortable because it's never going to be a perfect situation when you go to buy or when you go to sell a home. Um, I have an agent in here that are selling their own personal residence, and they put it on the market knowing that it was just the right time to do so. But they also know that they don't know where they're moving, and it's just that uncertainty, right? That uncertainty to where you can always factor that in when you're considering offers. You just have to know what you're dealing with and the timing of things. To where right now, put a house on the market, or she put it on the market a couple of weeks ago. You can ask for certain things, lease buybacks, and lease being able to lease it out after they've closed on a home. That's because there's less inventory on the market. But as we go into the spring selling season, more homes are going to come on the market to where you're asking for an offer where you can lease back the home for free. They're not going to be as amenable to do so because there's more homes on the market. Why would they buy your home and knowing that they can't move in right away when the house right down the street is ready for them to take over right now? We have Meg. What areas in North and South Carolina would you say are retirement friendly and highly concentration of retirees? Um, all right, hear me out. Good question. You have Lancaster, South Carolina. Now, Lancaster is technically I'll consider it's in the Charlotte MSA. Well, I consider it, do I consider it Charlotte? No. But Lancaster, South Carolina is about 50 minutes from me when I am in Fort Mill, South Carolina. And so it's about what, hour and 10 minutes from Charlotte proper with no traffic. That area is full of retirees because of the community Edgewater. Check that community out, Edgewater by True Homes. If you end up reaching out, tell them you're working with Sir. Bobby Ann and the team there are amazing. I have several clients in that community. They absolutely love it because that community has two golf courses, multiple clubhouses, pools. They're getting a huge amenity center, a shopping complex. So shopping complex is not there yet, and it's right on the water. Beautiful community. A lot of the residents have boat docks right there as well, but that's a little further out. If we're talking about places that are closer to Charlotte, you have a lot of people retiring to Fort Mill, TGK area. You also have um, places in Charlotte or just north of Charlotte. It is Trilogy, which is, I believe, Mooresville. It's the Lake Norman area. If you just Google Trilogy Lake Norman, you'll see that. In Denver, a lot of retirees are moving to Denver, North Carolina. So yes, there's pockets. And oh, Belmont, South Carolina has a beautiful 55 and older community called Riverside. I haven't put it out. I have about 8 homes that I filmed there that I need to put out, and that'll be on the channel. But when you talk about beautiful homes and the community is absolutely amazing, all encompassing, every amenity you can think of, Riverside and Belmont. So there's several places in the Charlotte area. Belmont, you have Denver, Lake Norman area. You also have Fort Mill, TKK, and then Lancaster, I would say. Any other questions? I know we're going up on what, 45 minutes. I have a hard stop tonight. I have actually one of you all scheduled a Zoom call with me at 6:40. So I'm gonna jump on that with you. But any other questions we have? Again, if you have any questions, thinking about moving to the area, want to talk about your options, buying, selling, investing here in the Carolinas, reach out to me. Let's set up a Zoom call, just like I'm going to be doing in what, 10 minutes with a client or potential client, and let's just hash things out. Let's game plan it because the market is changing a little bit, and I want you to be abreast and just on top of it so you know exactly what's happening. Yeah, see Pryor, good evening. Have you sold any homes built by Toretto Homes in Rock Hill? How is the build quality? I have not. I have not even heard of that builder. I'm going to do some research on that builder because I've never heard of them. So I can't say good, bad, or indifferent. But yeah, uh, shoot me a text. Let's talk about it. I will either myself or get somebody out there this week to be able to film it and look at it, put some eyes on it, so we can see what kind of builder it is. Are they building in a community or are these all one-off homes? There's a lot of smaller builders in Rock Hill that just buy lots and then build single-family homes throughout the city, one lot at a time. Whereas versus a subdivision where you have all the homes in one area. But Rock Hill, speaking of things, it's a community. I have to check it out. I have to check it out. Rock Hill, there's several communities that are coming like this year in Rock Hill that I believe are going to be an amazing value. If you, those of you not familiar with Rock Hill, the pricing has gone up over the past few years, like anywhere else in the greater Charlotte area. But the amenities that Rock Hill has, while they're still a little salty, they didn't get the Carolina Panthers practice facility. They have every reason to be salty about that because the owner reneged on it. But the amenities in Rock Hill often get overlooked. It is amazing, especially if you have kids. The BMX motorsport park, it's amazing. But no, I will be dropping more. You see more videos about Rock Hill and the communities it has, but I'll also look into this community as well. With that said, I appreciate y'all for rocking with me tonight. Thank you. Um, Feel free, drop questions in the comment section. I hope this was helpful. And you need to know what's happening. And if you didn't see the first, 10, 15 minutes, go back and rewatch it, because I believe that's the information you need to be armed if you're looking to buy a home this year in the Carolinas, specifically the greater Charlotte region. I'll talk to you soon.